Hello, everybody. Welcome inside the bullpen, brought to you by Hilltop Office Supplies. Our final show for 2022. Eric Ballner, Michael Dunn in the house. It's been a couple weeks, Dunny.
It has. We had a week off there. We had a little bit of a freshen up and get ourselves back on track.
Week.
I know. We had a big week as it was anyway with the All-Star game against the Giants, and we were all had involved with that. So that was really good fun to get a bit of a kick-off for the boys and start to get into it.
Let's start there, though, because last week was the All-Star game with the Giants, and then a few days later we announced that, hey, the Giants, these boys over here, we're going to be playing basically 6-7 weeks of games. Home games versus Melbourne, Perth, and Brisbane. We're going to be going on the road to Melbourne and Brisbane as well. We've got a series of games basically over 6 weeks. That's pretty cool. The Giants are going to get some local opportunities, playing 18 to 22 games somewhere in that mix.
Yeah, and if we play all those games, we talked about it the other night too, that we'll play more games this year than we actually played last year in a COVID-ridden season. So, yeah,
but it's all locals.
All local guys, no imports. There might be a few guys, Americans that are actually in Australia that could play in it, but no one coming in from overseas from no pro baseballers, we should say, probably. No professional.
Well, Ricks and Wingrove and that kind of stuff. Riley Yateman, Jack O'Loughlin, those kind of guys will be.
So I meant no pro American players.
Yeah.
So it gives them an opportunity, it gives the kids an opportunity to play and prove their worth and gives us an idea and the situations they can handle at a different level again.
Tom Fitzgerald's on the show later on, so we'll ask him about that. But to me, it kind of looks like, okay, it's definitely not the normal ABL because you don't have those Americans and those pro baseballers, but it's definitely a higher caliber than the SABL or the Super League because now all of a sudden you're going against guys like Tim Atherton and Donald Lutz and those kind of players from around the country. Your Jared Dales, your Daryl Georges from Melbourne. Like, that is a step up and some different looks that you get to see really who these players are.
And the thing is, this is where it's a big step up, and they'll see that. They go, if you do a scale of 1 to 10, you start club ball at 1, you get Super League at maybe 3 to 4, and then you get ABL 10.
Yep, right? But then this year it's going to be kind of like a 7 or an 8 maybe because you don't have
the imports.
Or, Curtis Meade, Aaron Whitefield, those guys not around for it. But it's still better than what they're used to.
100%.
So we'll ask Fitzy about that later on. But let's start with the local results here. This is what happened on the weekend. I think for both of us looking at these scores, we'll start with Souths. They've now lost 3 in a row, and they're still in a final spot. We'll see the standings later, but that's huge.
Yeah, well, as we said 2 weeks ago, they're sitting second, and then they lose 3 straight, and now they're sitting 6th. So
things change
in a hurry, and you need to stop the bleeding in a hurry. Otherwise, you get down into those positions where you're in that 7 and 8 spot again, and you need to keep winning, or you just fall off the pedal.
And now all of a sudden, Woodville are above 500 because they've won 4 in a row after a slow start, and they're just 2 points behind the mark. Port had a big win over the weekend. They're a game below 500. They're right in the mark now too. East Torrens, they're stumbling a little bit. Like it's become a bit messy around the bottom 6, which is kind of cool to see.
Yeah, the top teams keep, probably pulling a little bit further away, and then the middle-ranked lower teams are beating the teams above them.
Yeah.
Right? So that's where they even up again, and again, you're going to have, at that the 6th position, you'll have 6 to probably 10 that'll all be within probably a game of each other to get in to later in the year.
Some big performances on the weekend. I mean, Golden Grove, great start from A.J. Versteeg, but Wilson Lee had like 11 strikeouts in his first start back. I know he had thrown a few times. That was huge for Henley and Grange. Jack Stead had a grand slam for Port Adelaide. That was probably a notable one. Jack Bushel had 3 triples in a game. You seen 3 triples in a game before?
No, I haven't seen 3 triples in a game. That's different.
What would be better than 3 triples in a game?
Probably 3 home runs.
Have you ever seen that happen before?
I have seen that a few times. I think I did it once too. So
left.
One to left, one to centre, one to right.
Is that good?
Yeah, I think it's okay. So, but 3 Jack Bushell's he's doing a great job. As Goodwood have brought him in the right time to get his feet wet, and he's proving his worth down there as a young kid coming through the ranks.
So let's look at the standings right now, Dunny. Who on this list in the top 6? We'll start with the top 6. Who should we be terrified of going into the second half of the year?
Yeah, well, I mean, West. You can't go past West Torrens
consistent
10 and 1. I mean, it'll be interesting the next. With the ABL side of things, they'll lose some pitching. So they might have a couple of games where they get beat there. Sturt the same. Henley and Grange probably keep some of their pitching, but those 3 teams, West Sturt, Henley and Grange, are the 3 that we need to keep an eye on in the second half to see who finishes in that minor premiership spot.
You made a good point. You look at Kensington on that list. They're sitting 3rd right now. I mean, they're going to lose Sean Maple and Jack Platten. Fine. But you made the really good point being like, yeah, they're losing them to college. But a lot of other teams are about to lose guys for 6-7 weeks to the ABL.
Yeah, well, that's a good talking point. We probably should have a bit of a chat about that quickly as well. That we've told the guys they're not obliged to come and play for the Giants, but if they would like to do so,
great opportunity.
So we're putting it back on them to talk to their club teams and say, I really want to have a crack at this,
but that'll test the club's depth
them.
now, right? Like now you're gonna have opportunities where maybe like a Jack Bushel all of a sudden Goodwood are gonna have their same old roster probably as they go, but if Fitzy's pitching for the Giants, that means that they need the next man up in terms of that pitching rotation.
Yeah, and it makes it even harder because after Christmas you play 2 games a week, so you play Tuesdays and you play on Saturdays as well. I guess where it really doesn't hurt a lot of teams that instead of throwing your normal guy that you would throw on Saturday, who's probably an ABL guy, he just throws Tuesday.
Yep.
Right. So
and maybe it's a couple innings, whatever. That was
correct, because we know at the ABL level the way that Tank runs his teams, guys don't get blown out on the mound. Right. No one will throw any more than maybe 40 or 50 pitches a weekend, right? So they'll still be able to come up on a Tuesday night.
There might be a couple starters, like Mitch Neuenborn, you'd figure. I mean, he's a Team Australia player. He was a starter going 7 innings for the Giants last year. The Giants probably haven't pegged it being like, yeah, we need you to start and go deep into ball games.
Yeah, no, and I think I'm right in saying this, that our ABL games are only 7 innings anyway. So you're not going to get a lot of long starts there anyway. So they're still going to be available for club games during the week.
Good opportunity, though, to see what they can
100%.
do. Here's a look at the offensive leaders kind of at the break here. Troy Nicholson, a big standout. Sean Maple having a big year with 6 home runs. That's a big bat to lose. Maple pretty much scattered all throughout the offensive leaders, and he's leaving. That's a big loss for Kensington. We'll see him in the Super League tonight. But those are what they look like. But later on in the show, we actually have some awards that we're going to give out for our kind of first half reviews. Pitching-wise, same kind of thing. You've got Mitch Neuenborn, dominant. Fitzy, I can't wait to talk to him. AJ, 90 strikeouts for AJ.
And that's in the first 11 games?
Yeah.
12 games? 11. 11 games.
11 games.
11 games, 90 punchies.
And he hasn't started all of them either.
Wow.
He's going like 12 a game. On to the women's side of things, the standings really starting to take shape right now. Sturt, another shutout from Georgia Davis, which has just been incredible. And Glenelg ran up a big scoreline versus East Torrens. Their bats were hot. Jess Maslin dominating in the bat again, but Bindi Stansfield, I've got some of her numbers down here, and I think we'll talk about her a bit later on. She's hitting .500 with 12 RBI, 5 walks, and 7 stolen bases. Is that a good start to the year, or what?
Yeah, that's a great start. Yeah, very good start for her, and hopefully she can keep that up in the second half and give herself a crack at some awards.
So that battle is really between East Torrens and Woodville, and maybe Southern Districts if they drop some games to that last final spot. The top 2 starting to separate in the double chance game. You can't see that top 2 changing all too much, to be honest. Sturt and Glenelg just look a little bit better, but in the finals, anything can happen.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to change at all. And the thing is, when they play each other, they just move further and further away, unless they get, unless they get beaten. So if the top 2 teams keep winning, the bottom 2 teams can just keep going further down the ladder.
Did you watch the Women's All-Star game last week?
No, I was with the Giants.
You were the Giants.
Yeah, so I didn't get a chance.
I was impressed. There haven't been that many times this year in the women's Div 1 comp where the catcher's thrown out an attempted person stealing bases. We had 2 and 2 innings. Sarah McMahon gunned someone down running into second, and then it was Bianca Ramsey again testing the arms. It was a 2-0 game, and I love seeing all-star games that are that low scoring 2-0 defensive plays to take some free bases off the bags. Georgia Davis had some strikeouts. I like those low scoring games.
Oh, I think it's impressive for the women to have a 2-0 scoreline.
Yeah.
I mean, you see women's games, they're normally
20-5 on the weekend.
Pretty high-scoring games, and to have an all-star game where it was 2-0, it justifies they played good defense. Pitching was obviously good. Not a lot of people got some hits, and I think there was one hit that scored 2 RBIs, and that was the winner.
A few people asked me after me, like, who is that shortstop on one of the teams? Moved really good, whatever it was. The answer to that is Gemma Letton. She, I think, impressed quite a few people just the way she was moving out there. So there's a few players that are starting to bust through on the ranks as well.
Yeah, and again, the more they play, the better they'll get, right? It's just the way it rolls. So more.
What was crazy actually, Duddy, is I don't know if you heard the roar. Maybe the biggest roar of the night, Giants game, and then the All-Star one was Adelaide Angels brought out like a Sophie Fuchs fan club, and she ripped a double off to right field, and the crowd went absolutely insane.
Love it.
You love to see that stuff.
Yeah, that's why we're here. It's fantastic.
Look, we'll break down the Adelaide Giants playing some games and also a tremendous season of Tom Fitzgerald. We'll bring him in after the break. Until then, we'll see you in 60 seconds?
60 seconds.
60
we'll be
seconds.
back.
Get ready.
Hilltop Office Supplies are here to provide you with all your stationery, sanitary products and office equipment. We are a local business servicing local communities with the ability to offer you and your business the best prices. We offer a large range of office supplies from pens, ink cartridges and toner to monitors, keyboards and laptops. If you can't see it on our website or in our catalogue, ask us and we'll source it for you. We have a partnership with Kaishira Document Solutions where you will find many leasing options available for these state-of-the-art units and plenty to choose from whether you have 5 or 5,000 employees. We offer businesses a one-stop shop for all cleaning, kitchen and bathroom needs. Check out our website at www.hilltopofficesupplies.com.au. Register your business to stay on top of the latest sales and receive member specials. We are baseball people here to support the baseball community.
Back in the bullpen, brought to you by Hilltop Office Supplies. Fitzy in the house. Tom Fitzgerald, pitcher for the Adelaide Giants. Goodwood, the Seahawks. Where else? Where else are you pitching these days? Everywhere. You're just around the joint.
Yeah, 3 teams for once. I've done that for the past couple of years, and it can be a pretty hectic start of the season, but pretty fun.
Fitzy, we were kind of talking at the start of the show here. Obviously, we'll get to your numbers in a moment about a great start that you're having, but Giants games coming up kind of unexpectedly, I guess, from nothing to something. But there's like 6-7 weeks of games that you're going to be playing in. What was the conversation that you had to have with like Goodwood, for instance, and saying like, hey, I gotta go play Giants?
Yeah, it's kind of reality hits there. I didn't think we were going to get an ABL season in, but then, it turns out we're playing quite a few games, which is awesome. And yeah, it'll be fine with Goodwood. I mean, they knew from the get-go, and they're pretty supportive of me trying to make it at that next level. And so, yeah, they're happy for me to go play.
So talk us through, we've seen your numbers, and we'll put those up in a sec, but talk us through the last 12 months for you and how things have changed in regards to the way you just... your persona, the way you come across, what you've changed in your pitching action to give you the numbers that you're getting this year.
Yeah, so I think there's probably a lot of factors come into one there. But I'm pretty fortunate that I've had a lot of good mentors for these past few years and been able to see how other players go about their business. And I think, in the past 12 months, it's kind of come to capitulation, I guess you could say. So in terms of preparing my body, having good off-season, seeing a trainer. I've been working out Australian Athletic Centre in the off-season, which has been awesome. But then also, the throwing program that I did with Spence in the off-season was just awesome. Just being able to get consistent time throwing, 6 months prior to the season has been huge. So I just think a lot of things are coming together, including my own self-confidence and understanding who I am as a pitcher. Just having a better understanding of my identity has really helped me.
So you pitched 40 club ball innings last year, and now you've just eclipsed the 40 inning mark this season as well. And the numbers are actually staggering. It's a 4.87 ERA last year versus 1.51 this year. 37 punchies last year versus 52 this year. 34 walks last year versus 12 this year, and 1.74 whip compared to 0.96. For me, that one that jumps out is walks, like 34 down to 12. Like, are you kidding? Like, where'd that come from, and what's led to that?
Yeah, I think it's probably a bit of a focus thing in a way. So I think this year I've done a really good job of being able to one pitch adjustments. So in the past, it's, if I make a mistake, sometimes it takes me a few pitches to kind of get back in the zone. Whereas this year I've been, quite lucky in a way to just be able to get back in the zone whenever I want. And especially when I get to 3-2, I'm getting the guy out.
And have you developed maybe more of a pitch? Like, is there one particular pitch that you're like, yeah, this has been a lot better, whether it be location, velo, whatever that is?
Yeah, definitely my slider's improved a lot this year. So I feel like I can throw it for a strike whenever I need to, behind the count, and then use it to put guys away pretty well now. So that's definitely been an improvement.
Yeah, I think the thing that interests me, obviously, because I'm involved with you as well at different clubs and stuff, is the difference between playing club ball where you might throw 6 or 7, and then you play ABL where you might throw 1.
Oh, yeah.
And then also you play Super League where you throw maximum 30 pitches. So how do you adjust in those different levels of baseball to run your roles that you need to run to get your team across the line?
Yeah, look, honestly, I probably won't change too much because my thinking is I prepare pretty much the same each day. If I am in the bullpen, it's a little bit different, but I know how that goes now, so I'm pretty experienced with that. But when I pitch, I'm pitching focusing on that one pitch, so not looking any further. So even when I start, I'm simply focusing on that single pitch I have to throw.
Yeah, I guess from the other thing is too that you can see a starter as in yourself who comes out when they start a game that they're going to go, they want to go 5 or 6 or 7 innings, and they throw a little bit underneath themselves. You know, you might get the gun on and you're throwing at 85 to 86, but then you come out of the pen and you throw one innings and you throw on 92, right? So do you go through that process as well?
Sometimes, it can take me a little bit to get to going in that first inning, and I think this season probably my second inning has been my best inning of work. So I've tried to change that a little bit and just ramp up my pre-game bullpen a little bit. So I am bringing that thunder right from that very first pitch when I start. It is a bit of a conscious thing.
So games coming up with the Giants. First one is on the road in Melbourne in literally 2 weeks. It's actually crazy how quick that's going to come up. What is an opportunity with all local players this year? It's like local Adelaide players versus local Melbourne players. What does that mean to you this year?
Oh, it's huge. Like just seeing so many young, talented baseball players come into the Giants, it's been awesome because, we've got such a cool culture here. Great coaches, great team, great values. That's one of the things I was thinking about. I'm keen, but I'm also super excited for these young guys like, Max Stagg, Darcy Barry, Liam Bull to get some game time in the ABL. Is going to be awesome.
How good was Liam Bull in that with his 2 home runs in his first 2? That was he would have been jacked up, I'm sure, in the dugout after that.
Yeah, he's a stud.
And then in the offseason, I know that you've been working closely with Josh Spence for the last couple off seasons. How has he had an influence, I guess, on your pitching style so far? Yeah,
massive. He's such a smart guy. And he's a good friend of mine. So I think we have a good relationship. But yeah, Spency can point out some things that is way over my head because he does a lot of a lot of his personal time he spent trying to better himself, and that is passed directly onto us as players.
And when did you actually start playing baseball and pitching?
When I was 14, but just started pitching when I was about 19, so just after high school.
That was the first time you really started pitching, 19 years old?
Yeah.
Right, so, and you're how old now?
I just turned 27.
Yeah, so you've been pitching only for 8 years. You may be 27, but 8 years is not a long time. You're still a relatively young pitcher, I suppose. Does that make sense?
Yeah, look, I've heard that a lot, and this year's probably the first year I haven't heard that, which has been great for me personally because, I am now at a point where I have got some experience, I have some innings under my belt, and I feel like that's partly why I'm starting to pitch well now. So.
And you were obviously at Kensington the last couple of years. You moved to Goodwood this year. What was the motivation behind going to a different club and just mixing things up? I mean, obviously the results are there, so you kind of talked with results. But what was the motivation back in the offseason? Yeah,
look, I just wanted to level up my game and really try and make a massive impact to the Adelaide Giants. And I felt like I'd just been at Kensington for a long time. I just wanted to change my environment and get around some of the older guys they've got there. And so. Yeah, I've been blown away with how many people helped me out at Goodwood. There's so many guys there, John Challinor especially, who's been just awesome for me.
Yeah, I mean, you've got some good veterans, him and Fidgy, and then you've got Wiggy as the head coach. So, and you've Riley Moore's there as well. So he's a pretty good catcher in the league as well. He knows what's going on. So you have got a lot of veterans there that can help you out. And it's been proven this year the way that you've started your season off, and we commend you of that. You've done a great job.
Fitzy, we got some rapid fire questions for you just to get a little bit about to know to here. I'm going to hide these. You've probably been cheating in all the games here, so we're going to fire right. Fitzy, all right.
So this is a new segment, right?
Yeah, this is a new rapid fire.
So what we're going to do from now on with our guests is we're going to ask them 5 questions, just rapid fire questions about sport and life, and they just have to. The first thing that comes into their head, we want to know what they're thinking and let the people at home know a little bit more about the person that we're talking to.
Fitzy, you're a music guy. You like your tunes.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah, you a Spotify guy or you Apple Music?
Spotify.
Perfect. So Spotify Wrapped. You cannot tell me you did not look at that. What was your number 1 song on Spotify Wrapped this year?
It was A Certain Romance by the Arctic Monkeys.
Oh, you're going for that kind of indie rock. Is that your kind of vibe, the indie rock?
We're getting some head
I love the
here.
Arctic Monkeys.
And then the old guy here sitting here going, what the hell are you talking about?
So a bit of 2000s, indie rock. So
I love that, a song that's because that song's not a new song.
No, it came out, it was one of the first bands that I started listening to when I was a young kid, stealing my brother's MP3 player. So, yeah.
I love it. All right, sporting idol.
Jacob deGrom.
Why?
He's a beast. He's, before every game I watch his 2015 All-Star appearance where he struck out the side. So, and he's got that long hair looking pretty good.
Biggest sporting event you've ever been to?
Hell. Sorry, I can't think anything else but baseball, but when we played in Taiwan, I got hit for a home run there, and the noise was so loud.
It was
I
loud.
can still hear it, yeah. So.
All right, if you could go to any sporting event, any sport, any game, it can be baseball. You could have a time travel exists here. You get to wake up tomorrow and go to any sporting event that's ever existed, or it could be theoretical. You could be like, I want this team in a grand final, I want to go see them. What would that be?
I want to go see the Melbourne Demons win the grand final just a couple months ago. They're my team.
Go back to see the D's
That'd
play.
be- that's a good one. I like that.
I love it. And if there was no COVID at all and no travel restrictions, where would you travel to tomorrow? Easy to get to. You just like wake up and you're like, I'm here. Let's go.
I gave you 10 grand. Where are you going?
Look, I'd probably stay here, finish out the season.
Come on. Come on.
Season ends.
Well, then I'm going to Germany. I'm going to try and play over there with some friends in the team that I used to play with.
I love it. Baseball mind. Choosing
Everything's
baseball.
baseball. Everything's baseball.
Fitzy.
No beaches or go and hike in the mountains
we
or
got the
something like
beaches,
that. Yeah, righto. Fair enough.
I love it. Fitzy, thanks for stopping by on In the Bullpen. Really appreciate it. Really looking forward to seeing what you can do with the Giants in just a couple weeks' time with the Melbourne
long now.
Aces.
Yeah, great. Thanks very much for having me.
Tom Fitzgerald, everybody. After this, Dunny and I will be back. We're giving some Breakout awards, so just different awards. Just
yep.
tune in. You'll see the awards. See you then.
Here at Just the Thing Furniture, we offer quality, factory direct furniture at wholesale prices. From wall clocks, prints and lamps to couches, beds, rugs and outdoor furniture. We make furniture affordable, where you save up to 80% on retail, offering you the finest furniture at discount prices. When you buy from us, you won't wait months for your new furniture. Everything you see is ready for immediate delivery, and mention Super League Baseball and we'll deliver it for free. We pride ourselves on customer service, and our team works tirelessly to offer our customers on-trend furniture at heavily discounted prices. Visit our huge warehouse in Beverley, open 7 days a week, or jump online to check out our latest deals at www.justthethingfurniture.com.
Back inside the bullpen, Eric Ballnar, Michael Dunn hanging out with you. Fitzy is a good chat.
Yeah, no, it's good to get a bit of an input from what you'd say is a bit of a veteran in the ABL side of things.
He's
now.
starting
He's been
to be,
around
yeah.
a while, so he's starting to become one of the older guys. This year, he'll certainly be one of the older guys in our team, so at 27, it's crazy.
I'm really curious to see how, obviously his numbers tell a completely different story this year than last year. And, I'm sure we want to see those numbers translate at the ABL level. So, obviously, there's been some improvement. There's got to be some improvement at the ABL level. You really hope.
Yeah, we look forward to the next couple of weeks, and his confidence is up too, so that helps as well. So you go into that ABL stretch with some confidence about you, and you get a few early outs, and things just roll.
Well, Dunny, we've reached the midway point of the season, kind of. We're at the Christmas break. There's only a couple months to go, so we have a few award categories. I'll ask you some questions. I just want to know the answers. Is that cool? Men's and women's side.
Yep.
We'll start with the most impressive pitcher in both the men's and the women's. Start with the men's. Who's impressed you the most? Most impressive pitcher in the D1 comp.
Yeah, we'll start the first half of the year is obviously Mitch Newborn. West Torrens are 10-1, so Mitch has got a .27 ERA with 50 punch outs.
Yeah, that's good.
And he's 3-0, so he's pretty much untouchable at the moment. And then Fitzy as well. We saw his numbers before where he's at as well. So those two guys are by far the standout guys. Geordie Gross as well. He's having a great year as well. Henley keep winning, and he's doing a great job there as well. But he's a bit of a touchy-feely type kind of guy. So he doesn't get a lot of the stats that these sort of guys do. But he's doing a great job at Henley and in the Super League as well.
Women's pitcher that's impressed you the most?
Well, Georgia Davis, you can't go past Georgia Davis, can you? Right? She's like 3 billion and 0. So
she's got 5 walks this year.
A 3.6 ERA with 26 Ks and 5 punch outs. So and she's 6-0. So
5 walks. That's not a lot of walks.
No, it's not. It's that's fantastic at that level of baseball. So and again, as you said, she did another complete game on the weekend to pick up another W for herself.
Breakout player of the year. So maybe a player that it wasn't that they're not on the radar. It's just that they're a bigger star this year than we thought they probably would have been at the start of the year.
Yeah, mine in the men's game is Jack Partington. So he's sort of come out of nowhere really. He's been around a little while, but this year he's having a standout year.
Over 400 hitting.
Yeah, 400 stolen 15 bags.
That's crazy because the next closest is 6.
Yeah, and he's 17 or 18 runs. Double numbers, double figures in RBIs as well. So he's having a career year, as they say, at any level of baseball. So he's having and he just loves it.
Yeah,
goes about it the right way. Just loves his baseball, always giggling and laughing and just enjoying himself.
From that outsider's perspective, we talked about it on the stream last week. He's probably that guy that Giants can't really not take a look at.
Yep.
He's done everything he can do to be like, okay, we have to at least look at him or even invite him to a training, whatever that is. Like
Yeah.
he's probably he's probably on the radar of the Giants coaching staff.
Well, he's
now.
deserved his opportunity, right? You can't put those numbers up and not deserve an opportunity to
Have a
see
look.
to see whether you can do something at a higher level. So, and he'll get that over the next 20 games. He'll get some time to see what he's got. So we're more than happy to give him an opportunity to do that.
And the women's?
Well, again, Georgia Davis,
Yeah,
right?
it's hard
It's
not
hard to
to.
go past her. She's probably already won the Caps medal for the women's. Is it called the Caps medal for the women's?
I don't know if it's called the Caps medal, but it's like a best and fairest medal.
Yeah. Okay. So
she'll be up there. I mean, Alice Prokopek having a big year too. I mean, I'm sure she'll be. But Georgia's having a big year.
Yeah, her numbers
Jess
are.
Maslin's having a big year, but we knew who Jess and Alice were. They're giants.
Yeah, and for a young lady to do that at 15 or
16,
going 16
yes,
now, it's just what does the world have for her coming forward? If you're doing that at 16, that's where people get in the men's game. That's where people get progressed to go, hey, if he's doing it at 16, he's going to sign somewhere.
So you saw those numbers earlier in terms of people with home runs, Sean Maple, Galley, doing all that. There's a lot of good hitters this year in the SABL. The Clutch Award. Who do you want up to bat, game on the line, 2 outs, down by a run, runner on second and third, and you just need a base hit or a home run or something to drive those 2 runs in the bottom of the last?
Yeah, this one took me a little while to have a look through. There was probably half a dozen names that I narrowed it down to. But then over years and years and years of experience and time play, this guy continues to keep doing the same numbers year after year and getting those clutch hits whenever it was needed. And I chose Jeremy Questrell as that player. So again, he's having a massive year. 438, 21 hits, 13 RBIs, and 13 runs scored.
That's crazy.
So
and that's not even like, it's just like the same as it was last year.
it's the same
in
thing.
the year.
Yeah. So why wouldn't you have? You don't want a guy that's he's got up and downs in his graph. This he's level all the way across, and it's always at the top of the graph. So he's the sort of guy you'd want up in those clutch sort of situations.
And what about the women's?
The women's Jess Maslin's another one for me. Big hitter, big and strong, hits 522, 15 RBIs and 10 runs.
She leads the comp in RBIs. Like, that answers the question almost in itself.
Yep, totally. Totally. And the thing is, in those sort of situations too, she probably gets some at bats where she gets walked a lot too.
She does.
Because people don't want to throw to her to get. She'd probably have maybe 20 or 25 RBIs if people actually threw to her.
And she's also won the grand final last year. She won the grand final the first year of the women's comp with Gawler. Like, she's also done it before.
Yep.
So that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, a lot of experience, and why wouldn't she be certainly the first pick to have with runners in scoring spots?
All right, the most impressive batter, our final award. That's what just impressive. Just all around batter this year, threat at the plate.
Yeah, I mean, again, Jack Partington comes to me at the minute. So as we said, his numbers are 409. He's had 10 RBIs with 15 stolen bases.
So that's pressure on the base pass. Like, you put we remember that game at Sturt we did where he just put the ball in play and he legged out that infield single just because he's quick.
That's right, and that always helps you have, if you can get those cheap hits, because they even out during the year, that's for sure. And then Troy Nicholson's having a great year.
Shout out.
Yeah, shout out. He's having a great year. I don't know a lot about Troy, but he's having a fantastic year. He's hitting 489 with 18 RBIs, 5 home runs, and 15
I
runs,
think he's
which
got
is
like
a great
11
year.
RBIs in the 4-game win streak.
Yeah, and that's the first half. That's the first half of the year. So, again, he's probably having another standout year for him as well. I'm sure if we spoke to him, he'd be impressed with his numbers as well for the first half.
Women's, I'm eliminating Jess Maslin from the equation. You can't choose Jess. Not that she might not deserve most impressive hitter, but you cannot choose her. Who is there a couple people you might look at?
Yeah, I narrowed this down as well. We took Jess out, and I picked out Bindi Stansfield and Ella Forrester.
Yep.
They were the two that had the right numbers for me to give them a shout out to say they're having a great start
Ella
to the year.
at East Torrance.
Yeah. So, and the thing is with her at East Torrance as well, they've just moved into Division 1 this year too. So her playing in Division 1 and getting those sort of numbers is fantastic for her and also the East Torrance team.
I love it. That's the award wrap on it. Dunny, let's hear it right now. On a 3-2-1, let's say who's going to win the premiership this year. 3-2-1.
Henley.
Well, I didn't even get to say.
You
Henley.
just said 3-2-1.
Well, that's true. I was going to say Sturt. I think they're going to win it again.
Yeah, I think probably between those two.
All right, I think Sturt's going to win the double, men's and women's. All right,
Okay.
quick shout out for some community moments. We didn't get a chance to do this the last couple weeks. So Hugo von Alpine, 1,700 games umpired. We got to get Hugo on the show.
He started in the 1950s, I think.
We got to get Hugo on the
With
show.
that beard, he must have started in the 1950s.
He started growing that beard at his first game.
Yep. I think he came out with that beard.
Zach Fraser at Adelaide, 100 games. Congrats to him. Young buck. making some waves in the juniors there. Jason Canavan over at Henley and Grange played his 200th game, or 600th game. Sorry, that's a lot of games. 600 games.
A lot of games.
Good for him. Griff Butterwick, 50 games over at Henley and Grange. Another guy getting some game time. Love to see it. Congrats to him. Ethan Fitzgerald, 100 at Adelaide. And Ben Frick, the legendary Ben Frick, has played 500 games over at Adelaide. That's a photo with his son, I believe. That's pretty cool.
Great.
We're about to wrap things up, but I wanted to end things on kind of some feel-good moments that we've seen. So we put up that status on the Baseball SA page at the end. We started doing it at the end of the weekend, just what makes you feel good over the weekend. And this week in particular, we got a lot of like really good ones. So I thought, can I read some out to end the year?
Go for it.
Cheryl Stead saying having a Christmas dinner at Port Adelaide at Baseball Club and her grandson hitting a grand slam versus East Torrens. That would have been cool to watch. I'm sure a proud grandmother. Donna Borsveen said that, Woodville was over playing their women's D1 game, and then Troy Davis and everybody put on a big dinner and dessert after their game, even though, they go to battle on the field after they go play. I love that. You did that. You had a couple of beers with some people after games in your D1 days?
We did. Yeah, absolutely we did. That was all part of it. Because we all played together as well, right? So in the Giants days, so we all hung out together all the time.
Santa making his way around all the grounds, in particular at Kensington. There was a lot of cool photos of that, and Christmas at the clubs. Great to see a lot of clubs do that. And then in Div 3, Abe Squire, who volunteers a lot around here, and his father, Wayne Squire, got to play their first game together on Div 3, which was a pretty cool moment. Wayne looks like Santa, by the way.
Does he?
Yeah, he looks like Santa. After the under-15 game, East Torrens and Kensington, they played cricket just as against each
Something
other.
Different,
And Jack Bushel, 3 triples that got there. But we'll end off with one submission from Craig Watts. You heard of him before?
No, don't know him.
Nah, I don't know who he is either. But he did say the minors game, Staines versus Sturt, the local derby. Runners on first and second. Young Evan Goldsworthy dove for a line drive catch in center field, took the catch, had the presence of mind to run into second to tag second base and throw a bullet to first for an unassisted triple play that sent the crowd into a frenzy.
That's unheard of. An unassisted triple play.
That's one of the best things he's seen in baseball, and he's the one that hit the Div 3 home run into the wind at Sturt the other week.
Yeah, and 42
but
seconds.
But that's cool. An unassisted triple play.
That's
you got to
great.
do that.
Yeah, no, as I said, an unassisted triple play is not that very rare.
I love it. When I read
rare.
that, I was like, oh my. So I keep these stories coming, submit them to us, because I love reading these moments that happen in our community.
Yeah, it's great. It's what it's all about.
It is what it's all about. But everybody have a very safe and healthy Christmas on behalf of everybody here. We'll be back in a couple weeks with another show.
Yes, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. Stay safe with all the COVID that's going around, and look after your family and friends, and we'll catch up with you in the new year.
Big grand final coming up. Rays versus Marlins. We'll see you then.
Go Marlins. Go Marlins.
I'll go for the Rays just because it's not your team. But
Merry Christmas, everyone.
Merry Christmas.